Corey Shepherd Podcast, episode 12. Welcome back to everybody who's been listening. Welcome to everybody who's your first time listening. Thanks for all the feedback on the first conversation that we did last week. I appreciate all the feedback on it. And I was worried about how that was going to go. It's my first time really doing an interview or having any other voices on the platform. And I was glad and proud to have it be my father, my dad as the first one. But anybody who, if you know your father well enough, you know you're going to hear plenty daddy stories that you hear 1,000 times before. But I guess part of it is I take it for granted when I hear these things. I hear some of these stories all the time. I mean, I learned a lot while I was doing it too from him and about him. But some of them things I hear many, many, many times. So I was like, oh gosh, I wonder if people are going to enjoy this. But the feedback has been overwhelming. People really enjoyed him. And he'll be happy to be back to continue this story, to add some more to it because believe it or not, with all those stories that he told, that's not half of the stories that I hear from him growing up and some of the things I experienced with him. So we'll keep doing that and just build on it really and get more people, more voices, more perspectives. Some cleanup, of course, is always the case, right? When you're talking, most of what we do, as much as is recorded and put out, I talk as I go along. So I don't know, somewhere around the episode, I might have said that Bungie came out or Bungie bring out KMC. I don't know where would I get that idea from any time, but KMC was out way before Bungie. So thanks to Tony Woodruff for that information or helping me clean that up. And he gave a lot of reminders too to Daddy because Tony Woodruff had, for those who don't know, he's a brass player. I want to say it's trumpet that he plays. If it's not trumpet, it's sax. I'm pretty sure it's trumpet though, and his son plays the saxophone. I went to Fatima with his son too, Anthony Woodruff, or Tony, we know him as. Real great, great sax player. As Daddy had said in the episode, he not fumbling around with music. He reads, he plays at a real high level. I had the pleasure of playing with him in Central Bank once, and that's it's amazing just to hear. When you play with people like them, you have to concentrate on what you're doing, because you can find yourself just wanting to listen to what they're doing and forget to play your own instrument. But he cleared up some stuff that even Daddy couldn't remember. He was saying that Tony Woodruff himself came home by my father and spoke to him and my grandfather about him coming to join Song Rev because the guitarist was leaving the country at the time. So if I could just I'll go to a message that Daddy got from Tony, just clearing up some of the information, and this kind of history to me is golden. So forgive me if I'm a little excited about it, but I was excited. I really like the idea of jumping back on here and telling you all some of this stuff. So this is what he said, right? He said, I just finished listening to the podcast. At times I had problems distinguishing which voice belonged to who, if it's Ken or Corey. He said, congrats, we need more of that. He said, Keith Maynard was the guitarist for Song Revolution and he was migrating to Canada. He said he met Daddy through Roland Gordon, who we spoke about in the episode. That was his close friend. That was Tony's close friend. And he came to the home and invited him to be a member of Song Revolution. He says, I remember clearly having the discussion with you in the presence of your father in the gallery while your mother hovered within earshot. He said, he went on to say, you met Keith at the band room and he left his guitar with you. Remember he was saying he didn't know, he couldn't remember where he get the guitar from, He said, you met Keith at the band room and he left his guitar with you. As he said, you've done it very proud. He went on to say, in my humble opinion, and I mean his opinion is a valued one in music, he said, you and Tony Voisin share honors for the best calypso rhythm guitarist. Rest in peace to Tony Voisin. Definitely one of the best I hear. Tony Voisin is... I'll wait for Daddy to come back on to talk a little bit more about Tony Voisin and who he is and what music that we listen to so much that he played on the records and stuff, amazing guitarist. And then he went on to say Bungie came after KMC. KMC had parted ways with Ian Panton, and Ian was open to managing a new artist. And Bungie was the person, and he became a household name and so on. So, I mean, thanks very much, Tony, for that information. And I realized that a good idea for me, right, is when I have, let's say I get Tony to come on and we have a conversation as well or interview. I think I better let Daddy join me on them things. Because the history that he had with a lot of these people, I'm not qualified enough. I'm not experienced enough to do a good job with those interviews. So look forward to hearing Daddy in more conversations, but look forward to hearing him in interviews with me as well as I bring some of the people on the platform, which are real important to me to shine a light. Or, I mean, these fellas have their lights already, but really to introduce them to more people or a generation who mightn't have paid much attention to them, and really just give them the roses while these folks still here. And I feel there's no better way for me to do that or to bring that forward in a way that entertaining and informative for everybody than to get Daddy to be on those things, because he was there, he was in that era. So that's why I don't even want to talk about Tony Voisin and his legacy and him being an absolute legend in calypso music. It's better if Daddy talk about that, because they were also cool. I know I met Tony, grateful to have met him. Home by Daddy and thing, and when you hear them fellas play is something else. So I'll leave that to him. So on to our episode, on to our little talk we like to talk every week, right? Of course, if you subscribe to the podcast on any one of the platforms, all the platforms are available everywhere now, and also share it if you think it's interesting and you're enjoying it. Feel free, share it with somebody, and as I send out the links and everything, feel free to share that as well. Salute to my boys again, Tony and Kevin Farrick at the Cadence Club, for all the help they've been giving me with the links to the website, the links to the episodes, and where you can subscribe. That's more than I had ever bargained for. And these guys, Tony just keeps working, boy. He just comes up with ideas. I feel good about that. I feel like it's something. I feel like I could just show up and talk, which is what I want to get to real quick. So let's get to it. Let me get to the talk. This week was an interesting week again, and I spent a lot of time thinking about what life is going to be post-COVID, because I've been open with you all, I've been honest. Is difficult. This idea of a new lockdown or whatever version, it burdensome, I find. Yes, is something else, boy. And it's even more disheartening when you hear we went through a period of, I guess, naivety as a society. We were just feeling not immune, but we felt like if, we kind of did enough to escape the wrath of COVID. But I guess this thing, nobody gonna escape, because without even having opened the borders, we in a situation where we have a first/second wave. I don't know what to call it. I was glad to hear from Tarek and them in London, who would tell me that they kind of opening back up for the most part, and even things like clubs starting to get the green light. And I'm so happy to see they have, it's like a light at the end of the tunnel, if I could look at it like that. Like I saw Wuhan having a whole like beach party or a big pool party, and that was looking scary to me, because I guess in my mind Wuhan is the start of COVID, and I guess that should take some encouragement from the fact that they could have a big pool party. Let's hope nothing happen and everybody good. But when you see now home here, the cases going up by 40 every day and 50 every day. At the time of recording this, we had 1,099 cases and 15 people pass away. And it's getting heavy. It's getting to be a issue. As I go to crack the mic to record here now, I see something on Instagram where Usain Bolt is confirmed as having COVID-19, and he had a party on Friday, and there's a lot of celebrities at the party. Like I see Ding Dong on the mic and talking to him and dancing. I see Raheem Sterling from Manchester City there, who's Jamaican born. I believe he's Jamaican born or Jamaican parents. And he was in the party having a time, and there's so many people they having a time. Nobody wearing no mask. It's no distancing and happening neither. So, I mean, I hope that everything is okay with him. He have a little baby as well. I hope everything good with his family and everybody else who went to that party. I mean, people, of course, everybody's saying it was irresponsible and them things. And maybe it was, I guess you really need to do the right thing. And I know Jamaica has put some laws in place that if you gather or you go against what they're trying to do, where quarantining is, not quarantining, but social distancing and so on, you could get fined, or I don't know if it's jailable or what the thing is. And they say they're investigating his party. I'm sure they'll have consequences for that. But it's almost like, for me, I could feel the pressure of it. Like when people lock down and can't move around for so long, especially people like him and those who are at the party who are accustomed traveling, they on a plane every week. They out the country every weekend and flying back in. you just spare a thought for how difficult that is to be stay in place, or that this kind of shelter in place thing we have going on now. And I just hope everybody okay. And the thing about it is, and it shows you where when you listen to Dr. Parasram and Dr. Hines and them talk, it's something else, because just what they talk about all the time is where you go out there in society and see. Because he always talks about making sure you maintain a distance, make sure you wear your mask and all these things. And then you see something like that Usain Bolt party, or the engagement party we had on the islands, and or whatever Zessen party or whatever they have. You see how soon after you start seeing the cases skyrocket. I mean, we seen it for the first time, so forgive me if I sound dated or naive, but you're seeing exactly when we do the things like the political rallies where people wasn't wearing masks and so on, you're seeing issues coming up with at home here where the doc is quarantined. The doc being Rowley quarantined. The next doc being Gopi Singh confirmed as having COVID-19. They're talking about him going to several medical institutions and not saying that he was tested. But I mean, you think about it, when you do a test for anything, you're kind of waiting for the results, almost, I don't know if to call it like hoping that you don't have it. I mean, he should have been more responsible as with Usain Bolt, but it is what it is. And now we had to manage this situation, and it becoming increasingly difficult to manage. I remember when every day I used to just sit down and watch the press conferences just to see what's happening and make sure that they're up to date. But even that becoming a little bit of a burden for me to watch that press conference, and it's something else. It's just a different time. So, I mean, how long we 11 minutes in, and all we talk about is COVID, but I really didn't, I don't want to talk about that. I'm glad we passed the politics for the most part. I feel like today episode, I just need a distraction. I just need to talk about things that have nothing to do with none of these things, because if you're feeling like how I'm feeling, I can't wait for this thing to be done. I can't believe it's still going on. Maybe, again, I just was hoping for the best, but is a lot on the psyche. So thank God for CPL cricket, because CPL providing a much needed distraction, especially for a lot of us who are accustomed going in the office every day, or whatever your daily routine is. Your routine shot by now, right? Whatever routine you used to have, I'm sure it disrupted in some way. Like, I have some friends who, my partner husband tells me all the time, he working maybe 2 or 3 days from home, 2 or 3 days from the office. So he in a position where he had to put in the hours when on his working day. People expected for you to put in the same amount of work as he was there for 5 days, So another good friend of mine, going unnamed, just find out that somebody in his department, I think he said confirmed as contracting COVID-19. So now he's under 14 days quarantine. But I mean, he's a responsible dude. He's going to do the right thing and make sure that he separates himself from everybody. But it's getting kind of real. It's very, very real. And I know it's been real for many, many people before. But I think for us in Trinidad here, it's starting to get very real. So CPL, thank God that we have something that could distract us when we're working from home. You have a little cricket going on in the background. I bad talk cricket so much as a sport that I didn't want to watch again because I was tired of West Indies. But boy, when 10 o'clock come and I hear that little, wherever that song this go, like, I feel my soul is getting a little lighter, yes. And nice thing too is we have a TKR team that winning. They're batting first, they're winning. They're chasing. Whether they bowl or they bat, they're winning. I like that. And it's just vibes watching them too. I always used to question why Sunil Narayan used to go and open the batting. It's the strangest thing I see. Sunil Narayan, a big bowler, known for that. How he end up being an opening batsman among so much batsmen on a team. But the man busts out a 250s quick whap whap. And doing better than the next opener, Lendl Simmons. He's struggling a little bit. He didn't really catch his length yet, but I'm sure he will get through. When he start hitting, he ain't gonna stop. And the team looking good. The team looking decent. The ladies' favorite, Ali Khan, is here doing his thing. Taking wickets. Bravo there. Getting licks and taking wickets. He on 499 wickets. So everybody eager to see when he break that 500. I think when he get the 500 wicket, then he going to get bad. I think it might be on his mind and things. So, he's not his normal self. But when he get up number 500, is a whole different story in the CPL. I think, well, the CPL come with two surprises this year to us. My father self was saying he find the CPL kind of, again, monotonous. It's like the same set of players, and it don't have as much foreign-based players, so it's not as much surprises as you would have. It's just the same pool of players they're picking from. But I find that this year different to the other years because we had two real surprises. Where first, the good news or the bad? Let me start with the bad news. The St. Kitts Patriots. The Patriots is one of the better teams you ever see on paper. When you watch them and you watch the squad overall, they're bad. Let me tell you the rundown now. Dennis Ramden was a I mean, he's a Trini still. I'm saying was a Trini. So sports fans is something else. He's a Trini, but he was playing for TKR all the time. But now he gone with the how they call them, St. Kitts Patriots, St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots. But the men have a squad here. Emirates is the captain. They are Cottrell, the soldier fellow who like every time he bowls somebody, go and salute and all them things. Ben Dung, a wicketkeeper batsman. Evan Lewis, big player. Karen Powell, big player. Them and when them hit it, hit Chris Lynn, who big but somehow not really taken off in the CPL at all. When you watch them fellas, it looking like a dangerous team. Well, boy, dangerous is not. Them fellas have nothing to show. Every game they play so far, they lost. I think it's 3 or 4 games they play so far. They lost all. They make plenty runs, they lost. They make a little bit, they lost. They chase plenty, they lost. They chase a little bit, they didn't really say much. And on the next hand, the beating stick of the CPL, St. Lucia, and my boy Darren Sammy, them men on top of things. And Sammy going back into captain mode when he was winning under as West Indies captain, where every any interview him, he's saying, boy, this team is there's not the big players. They don't have the big brand name players like the other franchises. But boy, they're showing up and they're winning. I mean, TKR win all 3 of their games. And I believe St. Lucia only lost 1 game that they played so far, which would have beat the TKR. So it's looking interesting. I'm hoping, I was saying last week, I hope Guyana could come through and do something nice for themselves. But boy, I ain't have much faith in Guyana, the way St. Lucia looking. But maybe they'll do like Barbados and peak at the right time, even though Barbados was losing a good bit of games last season or last year. And then out of nowhere, they came out and they were on top of things, scraped their way into the playoffs, and then when we reached the playoffs, they couldn't be beat. And poor Guyana went to the final again and lost. So Guyana, the best thing for you this year, if you ain't win, don't go in the final at all. Better, your record's not looking so good right now. Better you continue this record you're going with, and don't bother to reach the playoffs at all to disappoint all your people and Guyanese family. So that's my main distraction. That's CPL. I enjoying it up at whenever it's on, as much of it as I could catch, I trying to catch. The next thing is, I think it given us an opportunity to reconnect with family. Like this weekend was my son's birthday. Happy birthday, son, belated. He turned 8 years old. That's something that is surreal to me. I guess people who've been parents for longer than me will understand what it's like seeing these children who was just little babies. All of a sudden, they're big and having conversation and answering your back. No, not in a disrespectful or rude way or nothing, but he's not the little child that could just tell anything, and the man is arguing. He like grandfather, he telling you this and that, and the man saying, and you know what I mean? He's an intelligent little fellow, so I was glad to see him turn 8, and we had one of them sad COVID parties where it's just me, him, my mother, his Nana, as he call her, and boy, his two little cousins, and we blow out some candles. Well, it's the biggest candle I ever see. They get a house candle, like if Current gone for the cake. I know how much planning went into that birthday party. But it was nice seeing him turn 8 and he enjoying that. And when you talk to him, I say, but Zachary, how you feeling to be 8 this morning? And he's like, same as yesterday. I'm saying, yeah, it must be same as yesterday because it's about 6 months now you telling people he's 8 years old. I know where he get this idea that he been 8 long time. From the time he turned the corner, he's 8. So look out for him saying he's 9 just now. But this COVID time giving us more time with him because school never opening back. And more time to just reconnect as a family and spend time with one another is like, one of the things I enjoy is I have the little home office like most of us do. some version of working from home for a lot of us. And it's nice that when I finish work, I could just open the door and I'm home. I don't have to worry about driving up the highway and getting nothing. And nobody had to call me to tell me, well, stop and buy a bread or stop so and pick up this from so and so. I home already and I ain't leaving. So at least that is an upside. I'm looking for all the positives in this COVID thing. And all the distractions I could find. Thing to keep my mind off of how sad this whole thing really is. And family is definitely one, like, because I mean you can't do for people who was limers. I wasn't much of a big limer to say a liming every weekend and thing, although I'm feeling like to lime a lot now. When you take away something from somebody, it's something else. But for all the limers and thing, I hope that people finding some kind of joy or some kind of pleasure making your own little small home lime as small as we could make it. Inside by we here, we used to have a little sweat now starts a bubbling now. We sweating on a Tuesday, Thursday, and a Sunday. My knees and my ankles and thing ain't built for that. But as much of the days that I could go out, I would go out and I see in the sweat group every week, people still asking anybody sweating, fully well knowing that nobody ain't coming out. And it's just one of them things, I guess, is just keeping the vibe going or keeping the chat going. Because you know always go with sweat, gentlemen. When that chat break down these days, if that WhatsApp chat break down and nothing being said, it pretty much mean that is the end of the sweat. Now, one of the things I was able to do this week too is pass by. I'll tell Oli in an earlier episode, and of course, there's one man I'm definitely going to have a conversation with, a fellow named Colonel King. I tell people that is one of the when I find out what friend was, that is one of the first people I know is a friend. And every time Colonel is the type of person who is that you have some friends who just show up for you no matter what, and he's one of them people. I ain't talking to Colonel every day, but whenever I talk to him, you know, he listening to all the episodes, he up to date, whatever I doing, he's always supported 100%. He ride it with you, no matter what. But every time I talk to Colonel, Colonel is say, boy, you have to talk about relationship. That's what people want to hear. People want to hear about relationship. I say, boy, listen, I just want to talk about what happened during the week, and if relationship come up, I will talk about it. But he behind me to talk about relationship, because when I talk about these things, I put myself out there. And then when he ain't nowhere to be found, and when Stacey now watching me side eye and want to know who is that and who is this and these kind of questions that me don't like to answer, Colonel King is nowhere to be found. Oh, and you know what he remind me about too? I was telling that story last week about what was that last week? Whenever it was about vagrants in St. James and Marilyn. And he told me, he said, but how you tell the story about Marilyn beat up the 3 man in St. James? Anybody who from St. James or passed through St. James know that was a regular thing. Like Marilyn, the tall, slim house, I don't know what's the politically correct word, you know. Vagrant, homeless person, socially displaced lady. Boy, she used to beat man. At the time I see her, boy, she hit a fella. There's 3 of them. I remember the time he talking about, right, the Vidal Street corner, the corner before Smokey and Bunty if you're heading west. And boy, fight break out. And I shot, but that man was so, you know, when man getting a rage, I tell myself, well, that is the end of Marilyn, but we can do that. But boy, them men started fire hand at Marilyn like if she's a man. Well, boy, Marilyn, like she fight before. Because with 3 people, anybody who ever fights and things, it's hard. With 3 people, you're sure you're going to get beat up. The main thing is try not to fall down. Because they go kick you up on the ground. So Marilyn fights in these 3 men. And boy, she get up, her hand on a carry bottle. And hit one, bow, point blank range. That was the end of he done fight. And then she take on the next 2 fellas. Marilyn walk away from that fight while the other 2 fellas was down. But anyway, I don't know why I went back there. The man tell me to talk about relationships, right? So we here. I'm going to be very careful. Again, I'm not calling no names. I'm going to protect the innocent. Any names that I'll say, what they say in them crime shows, any names that you see are fictional, or any names that you hear are fictional names and all these nice things, right? So I'm going to talk a little bit about relationships. And it came out really because I was thinking about all the distractions from COVID, and family is definitely one. Family and friends, because in a way, we can't do the get-togethers like we used to, like I was saying. So you're with your friends and you're with your closest friends and you're with family during this time. And when I think about relationships, right, and women and the way they see relationships different from men, one of the things that women mightn't understand, like there's this show that says he not that into you. How wasn't it that's a show? He's just not that into you. I think there's a name of the movie. White Folks. And I think it's an important message for women as well as men, because sometimes you're out of a league, you're playing in a ball game that you can't score, but she just not into you, you know what I mean? And you putting all your effort into it. But one of the things I think women don't realize, right, is when a man coming around or he tracking or he liking you and them kind of thing. But for some reason, he ain't claiming you, as women like to say. That has become an issue for people, right? And one of the things I always say is that, listen, it's not really about you, as sad as that might sound, or as hard as it might be in the moment. It really not about you. It's a man going through whatever he going through. And I like for me, it had plenty of people that get hurt and thing over the years, and it wasn't really about them. It's really just me being immature or not ready to settle down, or my life going in another direction, and these kind of things. So one of the things for me was always family. You see me, I like my family thing and a little family life, and I reach a age to where nothing do beat a house lime for me when there was our family there, and we could talk about the same old boring stories you're talking about all the time, but they're exciting and enjoyable to me. So when it comes to settling down or deciding a person who you're going to be with for the rest of your life and that kind of thing that women look forward to a lot and men don't necessarily look forward to at all, one of the main things is be your family. Like for me, I don't know what your family life is like and what your family is like, because if we're gonna be together, I gonna be intertwined in your family. Me and your family have to be good to them. Things important, because it's them we look at how this COVID thing come and hit. Imagine I in a relationship now where you and your mother don't deal, you and your father thing, and I have to be in between. I don't want them kind of rab. I don't have to deal with that in my family, so I was never going to settle down with somebody or be with somebody long term if the family thing wasn't right on their side. Now that I mean I ain't gonna be with you, you know. We could still be together shortly for a space of time. You know what I mean? But so I think that's one of the things that, like, we not just watching as men. It might seem sometimes that men is just study the looks, and we're looking and if the body right and where this do, and that is true to an extent. But if you're really looking to settle down and think all them things could be good, you know, but if it have other things that not right, it don't send the right signal to a man. And I talking for myself, but if it makes sense for other men, you only go tell me if it makes sense or not. So I want to give an example of that, right? And this is, I put all the blame on Colonel King for this, because, again, fictional. I'm making up names and probably making up scenarios and all these nice things. But anybody who feel like it's about them, please call the number of Colonel King. And don't call me. I don't want no problems. I don't want no worries. Everybody happy. Everybody like everybody good. But let me give you one of the examples where that family thing would be an issue or how it could derail what we have going on. So boy meets girl, right? One day, I meet a girl, a woman. What kind of age we is, boy? Let me put some context to this. We young. We not teenager, but we young adults. And I bounce up the girl, and you know how it is going the first meeting? You're feeling each other out, but you know, you're looking nice, and something had to be looking good for you to be talking to one another, as far as I'm concerned. Something had to attract you. So we looking nice and we talking nice, something. I like people who talk nice too, you know. You see me, I like to talk. You realize that? So you have to be able to talk nice and hold conversation. And if you want to be with me too, you have to take real bad joke. You can't be too offended too easily and thing, because me and no millennial, you know, I make inappropriate jokes and laugh at things that we ain't supposed to laugh at. If I was millennial, they'd cancel me long time. So thing went nice. Everything, the girl laughing. She like to laugh. She like a little old talk. She like adventure. She's vibes, and she nice, and we nice. Everything nice. And then we seal the deal and nice, everything nice. You know what I mean? Everything going good. And as a man, when you see, I know with you. Nobody can love like me when we now get together. As a love man, you can't hold hand like me and thing. I hold in hand. When we walk in his hand, I want your hand. And when we driving, I driving with one hand. I want your hand. I hold in your hand. No, that don't last very long. Let me be honest too, because after a while with them, my hand warm. I don't hold my hand no more. When we get good and everything's settled and the butterflies gone, don't hold my hand again. But in the beginning, I hold in your hand all the time. I want to hug up. I want to hug up tight. So we at that stage and everything sweet. When you listen, we ain't living together, but when I drop you home, I'm ready to pick you back up again. And is a pull out of drive to pick her up. So one morning, everybody who living in the West go know, one of the things we do, when I say the West, from Tongo right back, is a Maracas run. That's what we do. On a Sunday morning, we run up Maracas. We take a bathe, we take to drink by Uncle Sam's. We eat some bacon shack. And listen, them days I told them about, I don't drink alcohol at all. Them days I ain't drinking nothing. So I call the girl, I say, here, what's going on, babe? I come in and pick you up. And we're going up Maracas and she like that vibes, you know what I mean? She like little adventure, so it's vibes. I say, right, cool. So I take my time, I've organized myself, me in no rush. When I reach. So when I reach up the road now, all I see is long faces. Now the key word there is faces, because I call her and tell her, say, we go on the beach, we go to. When I reach there, is the whole family, everybody vexed. The mother say, look how long are we waiting here? I say, we? Who's we? I go in on me and she going on the boy, everybody card unpack, and apparently it's a family trip to the beach your boy end up in. I don't know how I end up in this, because if them had come and tell me all are we going on the beach, the whole family and all them thing, I would have been very busy at that point in time. Whenever that line was, I was going to be very busy. It's me and you. I want a whole hand in peace. I don't want the whole family. But anyway, I reached there and the whole family vexed. So when I realized, well, wait, something in right here. I keeping people back apparently. So moms and them jump in their car. I jump in my car. I saw her like live. Well, she don't know I saw her already, yeah? But we're going along with it. I ain't embarrassing in front of your family and I ain't think so. I'm going along with it. The girl brother jump in my car. Me and everybody cool and our custom going there and thing. And if you know me, when I come home here by your house, I the most respectful. I like fun. I the happiest man when I reach home by you. Your parents go like me. So everybody like me. Everybody loves Corey. And the brother jump in my car now. So I driving now, following the mother. The brother said, nah, don't follow them soldier. You had to go around the corner and decide and pick up my freak. I said, what? What manner of behavior is this? The man said, you had to pick up my freak wrong. So I said, but what freak? What? Malena, at this point, she is visibly embarrassed. And at this point, I feeling embarrassed for she to be kind thinking, what is this? She done get in a horror. Everybody done jump on the line. Now the brother talking about pick up his freak. I said, but what is I find myself eating, boy? I could have been home. I could have been eating my bacon shack by myself. Anyway, I going along. They ain't making no fuss. I go on and pick up the girlfriend is the freak, right? That's the girlfriend. So I go on and pick up the girl nice and everything cool. So I starting to simmer down now. I say, all right, this could be a vibe. Me and she and the brother and the girl, everything cool. The line going nice, man. Next thing you know, the mother and them saying, what we going quite up Maracas for? We ain't going there. We going Shagara. I said, what is happening in these streets? I don't plan out my little thing already. What we talking about Shagaramas for? Apparently, that's I say, but nah, I like to go up Maracas and get my little bacon shack. And they say, nah, we cook. We ain't going for. I say, oh God, this thing going from bad to worse. I don't plan out my bacon. I haven't planned. I tasted my bacon shack already. Now she done what she mother cook. I can't make no fuss, so I had to go along with it. I insist. I say, nah, I ain't going no Shagaramas. We going Maracas. Because I say, I go hit them a spin move and I at least will get a bacon shack to bring home. But here now, while we driving up to Maracas, all this is why you know the thing would not work out. And on the way up through the Maracas now, the news reported that, I don't know if I remember when they had some kind of, they were saying tsunami, right? It wasn't no tsunami. But the water was real high. Like we tried to go up Maracas and everybody was like telling you turn back and saying apparently the water come all the way across the road. That's when the bacon shack was still over in the car park side and all day was flood out. I don't know if I only remember that. And then, so when we go in Shagaramas now, everybody again know, all the youths from the West, St. James and thing, when we going down in the West, where we go? We go Macreep. So now I'm trying to duck the mother and them too because now I hear them saying they can't swim and thing. They say, I say, well, yeah, well, we'll go Macrib. They reluctantly agree. We end up heading to Macrib now. When we reach Macrib, water is all up on the step. The water was real high. I don't know, boy, listen. I don't know what I was. That I think they'd say it was a tsunami, but nothing like no tsunami you seen on TV. It's just the water level was real high. So now we can't go there. So we go on. I think they call the beach Shagville, behind where KFC was in Chagaramas. So now I cool. I done any situation already. I ain't making no fuss. I turn family man. I had a big family trip. So all right, no problem. We go on, moms take out food, we eat and thing, and we having a good time. I going back to love man again, a holding hand and thing. Now the father and everybody is a whole happy, loving family. Be nice. Until food done eat now. And I when I done eat the food, you know the beach scene, right? There's a Styrotex plate and there's disposable stuff. So when I done eat now, I looking for somewhere to throw in the little thing and them. And the mother must be realize I'm looking for some. She said, give me. So I say, well, nice, mom's taking my thing and say, well, the woman take my plate and dash it with chow out in the water. It had a little, you know, like the roots from them kind of trees, see the mangrove that tie up right by the edge of it. She dash way that in the. I say, but what is this? We don't. I was looking for a bin. Me and know you could just dash thing. You know, well, oh God, we going back straight to the embarrassed. When I look at when she see my face, she is ashamed. She feeling embarrassed at this point. But I wish I could tell you that was the most embarrassing part of the day. But it really wasn't. I start to feel like I'm in the twilight zone now because now if you know me, I don't do them thing. I rather keep my rubbish in my car. I'm not doing them kind of thing. Especially by the beach, you know what I mean? How we could just throw your plate up. But anyway, there's different generation, is moms and things. So me, and I ain't disrespect any woman, but I was, at this point, I want to get low. And she seeing this on my face, and I see the embarrassment on her face, and I say, you know what is a cool scene? I turn around now and I say, you know what I mean? We have to find an escape because at least she feeling the same way I feeling, so I know we on the same wave. Like, your parents is your parents. So I turn around now and I say, well, all right, here what? Let me try and see if we could head up the road because the brother could always come back down with the mother. So I go make some kind of excuse. Now, if you know me like to walk barefoot, you know. So I turn around now and I'm looking for my slipper. I can't find my slipper nowhere. You know when I watch the brother wearing my slipper? The brother... Listen, I wish I was making up this story. You know, they couldn't pay me to make up these. The brother wearing my slipper. Now, think of this, right? It's the beach. It's a rainy day, tsunami vibes or whatever. So this man wet foot is in my wet slipper. You know me when I'm not touching that in life again. I barefoot for the rest of my life if that's my only slipper. But boy, that man wearing that. I say, well, what is this? And that man, like, he realized that thing and he just kick it off. Oh, hard luck there. I was walking. And I think, nah. So I pick it up and I started walking. Now she walking and listen, we embarrassed. So eventually, we find a way out. Everybody decide to leave in same time. Now I wish I could tell you that's the most embarrassing part of the story, yeah? But that's not the most embarrassing part of the story. We driving, leaving Chagaramas. Now remember, moms and them in their own car, and it was a nice little double date vibe thing we have going on. Me and she in the front, hand holding and so on. The brother and them in the back. Me and know if them holding hand or not. But boy, when we start to drive out now, I don't know what happened with the man and the woman in the back. The brother and the girl. I don't know what went wrong. Me and know who vexed who, but two of them vexed. And she directly behind me, so I hearing what she's saying. And this man is cussing loud. That man cussing and carrying on in the back. And how you got this? And I tell you something. And you embarrass a man like me. Listen, that man cussing hard. I talk more loud. No, it's no more embarrassed again. At this point, we done. To be honest, in my mind, in that moment, the relationship was over. And they just to show you, like, it had nothing to do with me and her was good. But the circumstances was a lot. This and she trying to say, boy, cool yourself now, boy. What going on with you? You know, you feel your home out. You think, boy, that man, I'm not tell you. Boy, listen, loud cussing. And I hear the girl in the background, though, she mortified with embarrassment. She is whispering. She's saying, hey, cool it now, any man car, we doing it. I'm not tell you that. I never thought. Boy, listen, on and on and on and on. And until when we reach somewhere, we reach from by Shackville there, we must start to reach Carnage, boy. And I'm talking about constant effort. And think of it, if it's tsunami vibes and thing, it's traffic going down the road. I can't wait to reach to drop these people home. And that man going on and on in the car, loud, piercing her ears. And she whispering this and that. Eventually, like, she get fed up. She say, well, here what going on? You see, all this other talk, she started to talk hard now. All this other talk, you talking thing, will be so and so done. Well, boy, the car get quiet. I get quiet. Me saying nothing. No. I have nothing to say on this whole ride, except that I can't wait to drop off these people because I thinking is the last them go see me in my life. This is not, I ain't coming back. Only ain't seeing me again. Boy, the car get dead silent. And now I feeling funny now because me don't know if to turn up my radio. I don't know if to turn down the glass. And then I don't know what to do. I just realized the place get quiet. So me ain't trying to change nothing. I just leaving everything as is. And I just keep driving. And boy, here now. When we reach by Westmoreland, now think about it, then we leave from Carnage, that we pass Goodwood Park and Westmore, all them things you pass. The place is dead silent. When we reach the lights by Westmore now, I, like my boy, me know if he now process what happened. That man say, we ain't no so and so done. Boy, you'll hear that. All the way bust out. I don't know if it's all true. All the tension and all the vex and thing, boy, we bust out and laugh in that car. That was so funny. But that man started back to cuss from there until we dropped them home and they living close. And boy, but you know, I mean, that is it with me and that woman. We never really make it. It's like we make a couple of tack back, we try a little thing, but that just wasn't to be. And the thing about it is sometimes it's good in life to find out them thing early. Because imagine now, I never know none of these things. I settled down and I inside and I married and make children and thing. And then your brother is telling me and my son until we are children and I had to go and pick up your freak wrong. And I don't know if that will work. So it's like, I just going back to that importance of family and other things too. I mean, I will tell stories about the other things as they come, but I decide to put that out there just so that you know. I don't know when it is not always about the looks or the way you treat somebody or even how good you and the person is. Sometimes the circumstances just end there, and that's where I feel for people too who in this kind of time of lockdown, if your relationship in good, boy, is a rough time. Like I keep seeing city after city reporting how the domestic violence cases going up. Same thing in Trinidad here. Domestic violence, man and woman and man and children and thing, because people in households that unhappy and the brother taking your slipper and all these kind of things. So when you're forced to be locked down, which are hoping for the best, but I seeing us heading back to a more drastic form of lockdown sometime soon. The boss say 28 days of some version of this lockdown that we're going through now. But I mean, anybody could see that with the cases rising the way it's rising. Who's to say they ain't gonna close restaurants again and then tell people stay home and all those types of things? And if the household ain't so 100%, it could be a real rough time. Remember the distractions coming from boys. So family is one of the distractions. CPL is my distraction. I guess one of my main areas of distraction too is social media. It's not the best thing because social media is so up and down, boy, and it could be a place where you could find some positives, but you could also find some heavy drawbacks, boy, and some negatives and things that not going to uplift you in no way. And one of them things I see going on these days, I avoid this for a long time. I didn't want to talk about it, but it's starting to bubble over. This idea of susu, or what some people saying is a pyramid scheme, some people say is a Ponzi scheme, and whatever it is. So you're paying, like a brethren recently tell me, he put in a 4,000 and he get back a 20-something thousand. But he say he collect, so I glad for him. And I ain't want to knock nobody who try it and who try their hand, because I don't ever, however you It's like for me, pick your hustle over your struggle. Yes, if you find a hustle and it's working for you, go through it, your little hustle. Now, I'm not encouraging nobody to join because I don't think there will be a point where nobody get back their money. And a lot of people, if you think of the way a pyramid looks, right? Just study the way a pyramid looks. It's just a few at the top and a wide base at the bottom. So unfortunately, a lot of people are not going to get back their money. So my thing to you is no knock on the hustle or anything. But if you get your hand and you figure out your two people and them thing and you get back your money, it's a good time to get low, disappear. Don't reinvest and then find yourself in a situation where you lost even the little earnings or the winnings that you had or whatever it is. Because when I was in Jamaica, there was a taxi driver who used to drive me around all the time and I just get there. And this man come a day and tell me he looking for some money to invest. He wants to invest some money, right? He looking to invest 300,000. 300,000 Jamaican, let me just say is about 20,000 TT. Just about that. Which to me is a significant amount of money, right? I could do that 20,000 right now. So he decide that he gonna take this 300 grand and put it in a thing called Cash Plus. And he telling me that in the Cash Plus, you get 10% a month. Now, this man is no school and no textbook and no UE man and thing. This man driving a taxi. He's a street smart man. But he not the no big set of financial understanding. And so when he tell me 10% interest every month, I trying to figure out now, Corey, how you gonna explain compound interest to this man, boy? That is 10% over the year, but it compounded daily or it compounded every month or what. So I trying to figure out how I go explain to this man what is compound interest. And I explain one long thing and I myself struggling with the explanation. And he eventually say, here what? I ain't understanding what you're saying there and I don't think you understanding what I'm saying. So what I'll do, I'll bring a statement for you and show you. Now, the man bring a statement for me with somebody who invests 100,000. And as the man say, I see 100,000 as the investment in August. August month end, $10,000 interest. New balance, 110,000. Next thing you see, September. September interest, 10%, 11,000. New balance, 121,000. The man was saying exactly what it is. It's 10% a month you're getting on this balance, on wherever you invest. So I tell myself, boy, this is something to run real far from. So I try to explain to the man, I said, boss, listen, the best, most profitable companies in the world don't have no rate of return big like this where you could pay out $10,000 a month or 10%. Forget the dollar value, right? Imagine wherever you invest, you get 10% every month. You know how fast your money will double? You will double your money in no time. And I thinking, but this ain't right. Now, the banks and them is, you're not going to make no money with your deposits in the banks, right? Maybe if you do a mutual fund and thing, you could make some money, but still, you put 10,000 in unit trust in January, December, what you're going to have is 10,000 and a couple cents. And that might be a good thing because at least when you know when you're going in December, I never put money in unit trust and was worried about getting back my money neither. I also never put money in unit trust and had to find nobody else to put to get back nothing. Whatever they say is the interest or the capital growth or whatever they're giving me, that is what they're giving me. So my guy, I try to tell him, listen, it's sounding like a scam to me, but as I tell everybody, hey, if you want to put money in it, put money you could afford to lose. And as soon as you gain some, whatever you gain, withdraw it. Because I say don't always believe that money on a paper statement is actual money. You have to get your money in your hand to really know that that is yours. I could print something. You could give me 10,000. I could print something saying you have 1,000,000. Ask me for the million, no? So here now, to make a long story longer, he ain't take me on. He went in the bank and borrowed $300,000 from the bank. And you know the bank have a rate of return, so if you borrow 300,000, you might be paying them a 5,000 a month or 6,000 or whatsoever the amount is. That man borrow money from the bank and put the whole thing in Cash Plus. and he get 30,000 the first month, and then 60,000, 33,000 the next month after that, and so on. And he do this the exact thing I tell him not to do is what he do. He not take any interest in cash or trying to ask back for. Let me say you put 300,000. Oh God, when the thing reach 6, withdraw your money now and see if you could pay off the bank, and now you're treat boy the man leaving it there because of course they're selling you big dreams where it's not. I mean, if you have an investment like that, you would take out your money like a fool. Leave your money in, man. You'll get big house and big car and pool and whatever. All the dreams people might have will come true. In 2-3 years' time, you're a millionaire. Well, that morning I get up and open the papers and see the people from Cash Plus getting arrested and taken to jail. There was 2 of them, Cash Plus and Olint. It was close to us because the company I was there with in Jamaica, same company me and my father, but we'll talk about that next time he on. We had rented the office that Olint vacated when they left Jamaica, or for who get to leave, or if they didn't leave in handcuffs. So I know the story. I was there. Now, waiting the bank had to tell this man when he borrowed his $300,000. He had to pay back the people their money. He have his installments due regardless. And they protest and they this and they that, but the people get locked up. So you lost that thing they was calling interest, 10% a month. Every one of them 30,000 you get is down the drain. That never existed as far as I'm concerned. Plus the 300,000 you put in is gone. There's nobody to go back to say you're going to get that money back. And then you now stuck with an installment to pay the bank every month for money that you borrow from them legitimately. They have a legitimate claim on the money. You have to pay them. And whatever you use as security, because after that, he didn't want to talk to me about that again. But I keep trying to ask him, hey, what do you put? Did you put your card? Did you put what you put as security to be able to get this? Because the bank will not hesitate to come back for your things. So my thing to anybody who taking the chance in the susu or making a, you know what I mean, making a hustle, or even for the people who started something, be very, very careful when you're putting your money into that. And for the people who started, be very, very careful as well. Because when they reach the point that they cannot pay nobody back because they have no more 2 people to get. I'm not sure that like OrganoGold and Herbalife and all these different things, people invest in those things and they walk away from what they invested, largely because when they invest in them things, at least OrganoGold get a set of product that have coffee with some kind of, is a magic bean. You remember that Jack Beanstalk magic bean? OrganoGold was that. And it had some kind of magic ingredient that is making the healthiest person in the world if you drink that. And Herbalife have some protein shake, and if you drink that, you're going to lose 1,000 pounds and you're going to exercise with people and all these nice things. But they had some kind of physical product that could create some kind of value or some promise of value to people. So now when I put my 10,000 in OrganoGold and I get a whole bunch of coffee, I get something physical for my money. So even if I didn't get more people, I more see that as my fault. Like I couldn't get the 2 people and I end up stuck with this set of product, and at least I could drink the coffee and things. So a lot of people would have called that dead. And what was happening is that if you get 1 person and they get 2 people and then get 2-3 people, it's just like any other pyramid scheme. A little bit of money coming up. So even though you're paying 10, you might have done get back at 1,200 from the people who came in and all these things. Like I went, a friend of mine invited me to one of them OrganoGold meetings. I tell her, I say, girl, I don't go them thing, but because it's her, and I'm glad to see her like enterprising, like trying something and doing something. I say, all right, I'll come the meeting. But I go on the meeting up in, I think it was Ambassador Hotel, boy. I gone up in Ambassador Hotel, and when I see the people making speech about and listen, everything the headman, because that one had a kind of headmaster kind of thing. Like how this one have the earth level and the water level and all that. This one had some kind of diamond level, king level headmaster. I can't remember what it was, man. They're showing you all the Benz that he drive and what he accomplished. And here now, these men looking sharp. They suit sharp. They're talking sweet. You see all the arm and the I did be saying, them been saying that, you know, they're talking smooth. But the thing I find strange is every word this man say, they start to clap. Yeah, I say, but what is that? Some kind of cult, you know? What kind of meeting is this? I feel like, if you remember the name Jimmy Swaggart, I feel like I'm one of them Jimmy Swaggart kind of thing. What is this? Is like, what? And I was very happy for that meeting to be over. And I was like, well, Magela came through, thanks. And she was like, all right, cool. You know what I mean? And that was the end of that. She didn't really pressure me to join or nothing after. Because I guess she know I wasn't joining. And I don't know if Organo Gold had some sort of a reward for if you bring people to meetings and things. Because that's a numbers game. If you get enough people to talk to, somebody will join. But the difference with this Susu one is that there's no product. There's no underlying product. You're not getting anything of value when you put your money in. You're getting a promise that when you put your money in, you will collect multiples of that money. Everybody, I had an update from the stories I heard from people, and it looked like whatever you put in, you will get 9 times that amount when you leave. So if you was to put in a 5,000, you get a 45 grand. A 9,000 or 10,000, you get a 90 grand. You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. That's something great to me. If I could put 10,000 somewhere and get 90,000, I go like that. But I had to be sure I get my 90,000. And I ain't sure some of the people getting the 90,000. So, and they have no coffee, no Herbalife, no Amway, no Moringa, no nothing to show for it in the end. They don't have anything. So I think it will lead to real problems, especially now with this COVID time where jobs had to come by, money not running the way it was running, the opportunities getting scarce, our own economy looking at a real contraction. And I want to credit a guy too by the name of Phil the Great on Instagram, PHIL, right? I look at his thing all the time, and he does a lot of talks about money in general and investing, and he makes it easy for somebody who don't know anything about investing to understand where he's coming from and maybe get some guidance and some advice and some investing tips and them kind of things. I find he's really easy to listen to. And I heard him earlier tonight talking about this very same thing, that you're in a recession or a place where I feel the pressure of this whole situation. And it could make us a little more susceptible or vulnerable to believe things or to try things that we would not try before. I guess just because it's like you're at a point where something had to give. Nothing really happening, money in running, bills still running. You had to figure it out. The bank give us a moratorium on your mortgage and no moratorium, not deferral on your mortgage or your car payment or whatever you had asked them for. And while that's a welcome thing, it means that we still owe it. It means I'll take more time to pay it off, and it will be more interest added to my loans and thing, which everybody facing that. And the credit card bill going up and everything, it's frustrating. So it's easy in a time like this to hear a little story and song like if it's good and I could put in this and I could get back that. It sung real good. I just want everybody to be careful. And for anybody who in it, like I tell my brethren who said the other day, I say, boy, work on your 2 people thing. Don't study nobody who laughing. Forget the people on Facebook who want to make you into a joke. Them frustrated too. So people just trying to get some little kicks. Don't worry about that. You focus on getting your money back. But just keep in mind that every time you get 2 people and you convince people to get it, because you have to convince 2 people and then convince them 2 people to convince 2 people themselves and do the same thing one more time for you to reach that water level, for you to get your money, right? All I'm saying is this. Keep in mind that all them people you're convincing going to be looking to you when it have no more money to get or they have no more people to join. Because the head man of the thing, I don't know if he's the head man, but I start seeing people posting somebody who's explaining that he grateful for the media for carrying a report saying that they think they have this susu going wrong. He said grateful that they said it was nothing illegal being done and those types of things. And I don't know if he's the head person or who in charge and thing, but just keep in mind that nobody will be able to access him when the hammer fall. When the hammer fall, they're going to come back to the people who make them join, who they're going to see as forcing them to join or begging them to join or encouraging them to join or whatever it is. And they go turn to you. And the thing will get sticky because keep in mind that this environment's still rough when this thing collapses. And when the environment rough and people done frustrated already, you could see where the outcome leading. So just be careful with the two people thing. And if you get your hand back, this idea of reinvest in the unit trust now, or the local stock exchange. It's a thing to buy the reinvest in it. It's a little insurance policy. Them insurance people who call you all the time. Them is actually for two people and nobody. They're just actually for referrals. Them in telling you that you have to bring 2-3 more people for your pension plan to grow. You invest with them, your pension plan will grow. So figure out how you're gonna take that newly found wealth and invest it otherwise, or spend it and enjoy yourself and make yourself comfortable in this little time of change. And that's all I have to say about that. On to Netflix, which is my next distraction. I was telling Oli the other day I was watching Breaking Bad. Thanks to my boy Clint. Because Clint keep me on the break. Clint is like, nah, Breaking Bad, real bad. And I watch it through to the end, and that show is crazy. I feel I have it up there as one of the best series I ever watched. Probably Sopranos still. Sopranos really is up there as one of the greatest. But that Breaking Bad, I never feel like when you look at Walt, and it's two main characters, I suppose, Walt and Jesse. According to Clint, them men really like in that show, and you're getting to dislike one of them in his show. That have a point where like I vex. I want to see the next episode because I just angry with this person. And boy, you're losing all the sense that there's a fictional thing. Is that show get real over the time. So I'm going he suggested that do Breaking Bad and go on to Camino. El Camino, I think, was the movie version of it. That was kind of like a transition, I suppose, because it's hardly a movie. And then move on to Better Call Saul. So I'm now going to start Better Call Saul, and I see it have about 4 or 5 seasons. I'm glad for that. I'm looking for things that have very long seasons so I could just watch the episodes. I need a little bit of mind numbing to be going on in this time. So I'm going to tell you how the Better Call Saul went down. I'm going to get to Blacklist and Suits too, which a lot of people after last week's episode was recommending those 2 things to me. So I'll check them out. But what I need is some lighter stuff too. So I'm going to try and, you see, just always binge watch series. I'm going to binge watch a bunch of them stand-up comedy things. I'm definitely going back to Dave Chappelle. I'm going to watch all of them that Netflix have and just enjoy that. I'm going back to Che. It's something I want to recommend that people watch, and maybe the more people who listen to this podcast that watch this stand-up comedy special might be better, because I had to talk about on some episode the idea of cancel culture and why, like, my age group, and if you're by 39, 40 by now and older than that, you're just outside of the millennial age group. And you see, millennials is a group to me. I think younger people are the ones that always save the world from whatever problems we're facing. But this particular group that I call millennials is a rough group for me in terms of the way they see the world. They have a black and white approach to the world that is something else to me. As I like to see it, but it's not the way I live. So it's always, I just had to watch that from a distance. But I want to recommend that people go to Netflix and watch Bill Burr, Paper Tiger. Bill Burr is a comedian, a white boy. But Paper Tiger and Dave Chappelle Sticks and Stones was like that too, but maybe it's better to hear it from a white boy, because he deals with cancel culture, or poke fun at cancel culture. And I like when comedians do this, because they know how to put stories together and make it funny and light so that you could follow with him and maybe even laugh at it, or find a way to laugh at yourself as you go through it. But he deals with cancel culture head on, because it's like this idea that everybody offended by what other people say is an odd thing for me. So I had to dive into that at some point. And before you watch this series or the comedy special, the one thing I will say about it as a precursor to what I talk about in that episode is that the idea of seeing the world as black and white and seeing you as if you do something wrong. I was talking about this with Ramsaran last week. Anything you do wrong, you should lose the ability to take care of your family, and you should be banished from this world. That's one thing, and if that's the way you feel, that's cool. If everybody who does something what you consider very, very wrong, you want to get them off the face of the earth, that is fine. But my fear with millennials as well, as a group, is the high rates of depression and suicide that group faces. And I think a part of it is really because of how they see the world as well. If you see the world so black and white and such an unforgiving place, my own theory, and I am no psychologist on this, is just my theory, right? My theory is that that group also is going to be very, very hard on themselves. And just like how they don't forgive others and find ways to move on and realize that people, not every mistake you make should define you, or who you are today mightn't be who you are tomorrow. Like I was saying about the youths and the Zessen movement the other day. My fear is that you feel the same way about yourself. And you're not very forgiving of yourself, and you're not very tolerant of your own mistakes, and you see the things you do as black and white, and it's right and wrong. And if it's wrong, it's to be condemned and banished from the face of the earth. And I think it will probably cause a lot of internal turmoil with that group of people, or that group of youths. And I want to say that, number one, you're too young for that. You have plenty of life to live, Dread. I mean, as much as I find this time depressing and it's hard and all that, so I can't imagine being 20, 21 at this time when you have all the energy in the world. I must want to go a party and run around like Usain Bolt too. But you have to appreciate that, hey, we make mistakes. We do things. We're human beings. The human experience, I find, is a great experience. And think of why I be coming here talking about every week. I be talking about more mistakes I make than things where I break through and get and see success. A lot of the character building and the successes, they found in the mistakes that we make, sometimes over and over and over. And as bad as something might be feeling to you in a moment or in the moment, it will pass, and there will be another moment where you will look back at that, or you will reminisce, and you will think, hey, I make it through that, or you'll be able to laugh at yourself and say, hey, listen, I was a real fool when that thing. I mean, think of how much time you hear me coming and say I'm a fool. I don't know what the hell I was thinking as a young person. But it's like I just thinking of before even getting into that episode that deals with the whole idea of canceling, which I heard Brian talk about it on his podcast, and I find he did a good job tackling it. It's something that I feel like, forget about who you're canceling and who you want to write off and who you want to do that. Study yourself and try and look at yourself and see, if am I thinking of myself the same way I look at everybody else in terms of this cancel thing, where every mistake I make, I feel I deserve to be cancelled or punished, or I don't deserve the things I have because I made a statement that was this, or I do something to somebody that was wrong, so I don't deserve the things I have. I feel like, and again, I was my own theory, I know psychologists and them kind of things, but it makes me feel like if you're that harsh way of dealing with yourself and trying to treat or approach a world in a black and white way, when the world's so nuanced and it's perfect in its own way, but it's plenty ups and downs and plenty nuances and plenty to learn and plenty things you feel you know now, you're going to look back at that and realize the bliss of ignorance that I was living through at the time. But like I was saying with the guys in the Zessen movement, you had to live to see it. So that's just my little thing to the youths now. Like, hey, take it easy on yourself, man. If you feel to cancel everybody, I don't think you should do that either. But that's your choice. If you want to protest and cancel people and make sure that nobody ever see that person in life again, that's cool if that's what you want to do. But just make sure you're not treating yourself like that. And my theory is that if that's the way you see others and that's the way you see the world, I think you're going to end up inadvertently treating yourself real rough. And now is not the time for that. You have to be gentle on yourself and take it easy and forgive your own mistakes and just keep your head up. Maybe I'm talking to myself, you know. I don't know. So I think I done enough. I think that's it for me. Thanks for all the feedback on the conversation. More of that to come. I have some interviews that are really, really excited about, and what keeping me back on the interviews now is that I want to do those things with video at a very high quality. So Christian Constance, link up, because it's time to show your skill and do your thing. Because what I'm not going to do is sit down and edit no video and them kind of thing. I'm too old for that. You're a young fella. So we need to get these things lined up and really organized to as I said, put some of these legends in the right light and show them where they're supposed to be. And what better time than now? We have a little time. It's a different world, and if I could add to some of the distraction or the entertainment or the mind numbing, I go try and do that myself. Yes, so look forward again to new episodes every Tuesday. Conversations coming up on Fridays, and don't look for me for conversations every Friday. Conversations will be launched on a Friday. I'm not sure that every Friday we'll have one, but I have some really nice ones lined up for the next few Fridays, so that should be fun. So remember to follow the page on Instagram. Corey Shepherd Podcast is also on Facebook, the Corey Shepherd on Twitter. And give me as much feedback as you want. Or if you have people who you think we should talk to, just let me know. Or if you want to talk, jump on. It's about time, right? So I'll see you guys next week.